You tap your card, coffee bought, 2 seconds, you don't even look at the screen. That tap is the end of a 5,000-year experiment. Because for most of human history, there was no such thing as money. No coins, no cash, no cards, no apps. And yet people traded, people owed each other things. People got rich, went broke, paid off debts, and built entire economies without a single dollar ever existing. So here's the question that's going to sit with you for the rest of this video. If there was no money, how did anyone actually get anything done? How do you buy something with nothing in your pocket? How do you save for the future when there's no bank? How do two total strangers who don't trust each other at all agree on a trade? I'm going to walk you through 5 real systems humans actually used. One of them is still technically in use today. If you like figuring out how the world actually works underneath the surface, subscribe because that's the whole channel. Start small, a hunting band, maybe 30 people, sharing one fire. Nobody's trading here, not really. If you kill an antelope, you don't sell the meat. You give it away to your cousin, your neighbor, the old man who can't hunt anymore. And here's the part that trips people up. Nobody's keeping a ledger. Nobody's thinking he owes me one. It's just assumed that when you need something, it'll be there. Anthropologists call it a gift economy, obligation instead of price tags. It works because everyone already knows everyone. Reputation is the currency. Be stingy once and the whole camp knows by nightfall. But that only works at small scale. The moment you're dealing with someone outside your circle, a stranger, someone from the next valley over, that system breaks completely. So what do you do then? 1922. A Polish anthropologist named Bronisław Malinowski is living among the Trobriand Islanders off the coast of Papua New Guinea, and he watches something that makes no economic sense at all. Islanders are risking their lives paddling canoes across open ocean, storms and all, to trade two kinds of objects, red shell necklaces and white shell armbands. Not food, not tools, just shells. Here's the catch, you can't keep them. Necklaces travel one direction around the island chain, armbands travel the other. You receive one, you're now obligated to pass an armband back the other way, eventually to someone else. Malinowski calls it the Kula ring, and the point of it isn't the shells at all, it's the relationship. Once you're in a Kula partnership with someone on another island, you have an ally, someone who'll host you, protect you, trade food and timber with you for life. The shells are just the excuse. The real currency being exchanged is trust, manufactured on purpose between people who would otherwise be strangers or enemies. So relationships can substitute for money, but eventually some societies needed something more portable than an alliance. They needed an object everyone already agreed was valuable. Cattle. In a lot of early societies, if you had cows, you had wealth. You could pay a bright price in cows, settle a debt in cows, even pay a fine in cows. It ran so deep into the language that the Latin word for money, pecunia, where we get pecuniary, comes straight from pecus, meaning livestock. Quick myth check. Since we already busted one myth this video, you've probably heard Roman soldiers were paid in salt, which is where salary comes from. That one doesn't actually hold up. Historians have found zero evidence for it. The word likely does connect to salt, somehow, but nobody's ever pinned down exactly why. Even the people who study this for a living just don't know yet. Salt itself, though, absolutely did function as a real currency in parts of the ancient world because in a world with no refrigeration, something that preserves food is generally as good as gold. And then there's the one that traveled further than almost anything else, the cowrie shell. Small, glossy, nearly impossible to fake. Starting around 1300s, cowries pulled from the waters near the Maldives ended up circulating as currency across West Africa and separately across parts of Asia. 2 continents apart, small tiny shell, same idea. This is worth something because we all agree it is. It's worth saying plainly, currencies aren't morally neutral. Cowries were later used by European traders as one of the goods exchanged in the transatlantic slave trade, a reminder that what counts as money has always been tangled up with power, not just convenience. Cattle, salt, shells, these all still had to physically change hands, but somewhere else in the ancient world, people figured out something stranger. You didn't need to hand anything over at all. You just needed to remember what was owed. Ancient Mesopotamia. Roughly 5,000 years ago, no coins exist anywhere on Earth yet, but the economy here is, in some ways, more sophisticated than ours. Picture a Babylonian walking into the local alehouse. He doesn't pull out coins. There aren't any. He drinks on credit, it gets written down, he settles the tab at the harvest in grain. Temples and palaces kept the actual books on clay tablets, pressed in wedge-shaped cuneiform script. Grain owed, silver owed, labor owed, all tracked, all dated. Here's the detail that surprises people. Silver was the unit they measured value in. 1 shekel of silver equals this much grain, but that silver mostly never moved. It was an accounting number, not pocket change. Economic historian Michael Hudson calls it palatial credit, a debt system with institutions backing it, centuries before anyone minted a coin. There were even standardized interest rates, 1/6 of the debt per month interest, invented as a byproduct of bookkeeping math, before money as we'd recognize it existed at all. Gifts, alliances, shells, ledgers. Every one of these is really just a way of answering the same question. How do we agree on what something is worth and trust each other to honor it? And nowhere is that made more nakedly obvious than on one small Pacific island. The island of Yap in Micronesia, the local currency here is stone, giant limestone discs, some of them bigger and heavier than a car, called rai. You'd think something that heavy would be useless as money. You'd be right. Nobody's carrying a 2-ton rock to go buy dinner, and that's exactly the point. When ownership of a stone changes hands as payment for a debt, a marriage, a favor, the stone usually doesn't move an inch. The whole village just updates what it collectively knows. That stone belongs to someone else now. And then there's the story every economist who studies Yap ends up telling. A crew was ferrying a massive rice stone by canoe when a storm hit. The stone sank straight to the ocean floor, gone physically forever. The crew got home and told everyone what happened, and the island decided the stone still counts. Nobody's seen it in over 100 years. Someone on Yap today still owns it. In 1991, the economist Milton Friedman wrote an essay about this island because he realized Yap wasn't a curiosity. It was a mirror. A stone at the bottom of the ocean that everyone agrees is still worth something is not so different from a number on a bank server that you've also never seen, made of nothing but shared belief. So go back to that card tap at the very start of this video. There's no goal behind it, no stone, just a number updated on a server somewhere that two banks and a payment network all agree is real. Every system in this video, the gift, the shells, the ledger, the sunken stone, was solving the exact same problem your card solved in 2 seconds. How do strangers agree that something has value and trust each other to honor it? Money was never really the coins or the cards. It was always the agreement. Sit with that for a second. If this kind of thing, the hidden mechanics behind stuff we do without thinking, is interesting to you, this is the whole channel. Subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.